Hello everybody, welcome to the middle of week 3. The work for week 3 has been posted since the beginning of the week, so you should be involved already. If you're not, you better hop to it. Get things going. The end of the week is coming up, so I expect you to check in each week early to see when I post these links. Sometimes I don't get an email out, but you're in college now. I expect that you should be able to figure out when things are due, and you can do that in a few ways on the website. The first way is if you're on the home page, you go directly to the home page. When you get to the website, you should have this bookmarked, things like that. There are a few different ways that you can access the work for each week. If you scroll down on the right hand side of the screen in the sidebar, you'll find all of the recent posts. So here here's the work for week 3. You can just click on that. It will take you right to the weekly overview for week 3. So here's that, all the work for the week. Another way that you can access this is by clicking on the assignments page. When you click on that, it will pull up all of the posts that I have categorized under weekly overview. So here we have the work for week 3, come down, and also the work for week 2, the work for week 1. So all of the weekly outlines, the activity outlines, will be posted here. So so the first way is you can click on here under recent posts. Other is to look under the assignments link here, and the other is to look at the schedule. Sometimes, like this week, I forget to post the link here. I forget to update the link on this page, but you can scroll down here and have links to all the week's activities. So those are 3 different ways that you can access the work for each week, and I expect you to follow along in those different ways to access the work for each week. So, and then within each overview, obviously, I've got links to the different activities, everything that you should be doing. And this week there's lots of reading, supplemental reading, lots of fun stuff going on here. Different versions of some of the poems we're reading for the week that you can find on the web, and that a lot of you have been kind of having some fun with. You have the other preparation activities to record 2 entries in your reading notebook. You should do this every week. And again, those reading notebook entries just need to be based off of, you should be annotating all the text that you read. Those annotations are for your benefit. And then using the process we talked about during week 1, you take those ideas and you expand on them into some longer entries. So you're building off of the thinking that you are doing as you read. Now, this is a way for you to engage not only with the texts, but with, and to interact with them in your own way. So if you need to review the instructions for the reading notebook, you can find those here. Keeping a reading notebook, that post there, the assignment. Also, you should be adding some supplemental texts to our shared Google spreadsheet. This is just kind of a way to encourage you to look on the web, to look or for different ways that you can interact with the text. This is one way that the internet, the digital world, can help to augment our reading processes. By finding different versions of texts, by finding different things that people have read or said about a text, then it can help us to expand our thinking on the text that we're reading. So I'd like you to share those here. There's a small change I made in it this week. I want you to make your comments on the supplementary resources a little longer, at least 50 words long. So you'll post the title of the resource here or a link to it, the text, the resource supplements, the type of resource it is, and then a brief description of how the resource has helped you to better understand and interact with the text. So I want you to post at least one of these each week. We'll be building a repository of different ways that the internet allows us to interact with the texts online. So we'll be building that up, hopefully toward a resource that we can share at the end of the semester. So, and then I'll be posting, actually maybe I'll post this book review assignment next week. You don't need to worry about that this week. I'll post that next week as we move into our new unit. And then participate. We'll be using Twitter this week to discuss the text you're reading. I've got the assignment here. If you have questions about that, let me know. And then we'll have two Google Plus conversations this week, one based around We Wear the Mask and the other an introduction to poetry. I love poetry. If you haven't noticed already, I'm a poet. I love poetry. I love literature, all these things. So having lots of fun this week in the course. So those are some basic ways that you can interact with the course each week. You can find the weekly overview, the activities, and start interacting with the course early on. If you have questions about anything, please do feel free to let me know. My inbox is always open.